Listen, the secret is you are
Robert.
born.
Robert,
Robert Face.
Robert, how you doing?
I'm doing my best. I'm listening.
No, I was just
Oh, you. Oh, you.
telling. I was just no. Go. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Uma.
No, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
No, no. I was just telling. I was just telling Kanoom when these niggas, real quick, and I'll let Faze. I'll shut the fuck up. But when I was telling Kanoom, when these niggas invite you to the lodge, the secret is you're already the lodge is between the black woman's thighs. That's the true lodge. Because you can't get into the temple if you use the ancient times. You can't get into no temple unless you was born from a Nubian woman. Long story short. So when these niggas be like, come join the lodge, you're already born. AO's in your DNA. You know what I'm saying? So you are the lodge. Anyways, I just want to tell you that.
All right. I should.
I
Okay,
should.
absolutely.
We I listened to the video that you posted about my father speaking about land grabbing with
Yeah,
Sheriff
I just
Seals
posted
and
that.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Someone shared it to me and I listened to it and I tried to share it, but like I tried to have everyone listen to it publicly. Now, I spoke about how I tried to get on Young Elders platform
Oh
to
shit.
discuss about the fraud that has been happening for years,
Mm-hmm.
or in regards to people stealing my father's properties and stuff like that. But he obviously ignored it because it wasn't something of interest to him. That was one. So I pulled up the proof of fraud and showed people that I have documentations of all the fraud that was taking place, because clearly I don't have a platform to talk about it. So the more people I can bring this awareness to, the more the benefit it would be for my father, because this is all a part of his conspiracy case, including the land, and not just the land, but including all of these properties that I just showed
Mm-hmm.
that were also stolen.
A lot,
And these are
Yeah,
lot of
that
all
was
them.
these.
that was taken from a clip from a phone call that was given to me August 8th of 2021. He was basically saying everything that everybody coming out talking about now.
Mm-hmm.
Pop was saying this in 2021.
Right,
So
and I was saying it
when
too as
Rod
well.
Hayes and them came out and was like 2019 was the year. Firstly, I made sure that I put on record that I went to Rod Hayes in 2021. I spoke to him. Remember Clubhouse days? Phase one name was all through them hallways. And then nobody want to fuck around, because especially when it came to Dr. York, but they didn't want to fuck around with any of the stuff, the knowledge, the information, the breakdowns, decoding. Nobody want to play around. Anything they were talking about, the vaccine shit, the doctor information and all of the, I was everywhere. When it came to Pops, I told people, I said, oh no, y'all gonna keep playing like y'all don't know this name. But this name is going to explode throughout the whole metaverse, whatever you call it. The algorithm gonna pick up on it, right? And Rod Hayes was in there because he had started blowing up around 2020, 2021, right? So it was him that was blowing up, and it was Isis Wisdom that was blowing up. And they were talking on a lot of different things like the CERN shit, the Georgia Guidestones. I was there for all of that, right? So I stepped to Rod. I was like, yo, because I heard him mentioning the Anunnaki. I heard him mention the Galactic Federation. He was talking about Incan Enlil and Aten and Atum Ray and the kings walking the land, the invasion that was going to take place if Larry wasn't let out in 2021, all this other stuff. So I was like, wait a minute. So I stepped to him. I said, yo, you ever heard of Dr. Malachi Z. York? Now I know the answer, right? Because just of his lingo. And he was like, yeah, I heard about Malachi. I said, yeah. I said, I see that you pushing for Larry to get out of Colorado, right? Colorado AdMax. Do you know who also was there at Colorado AdMax? And he knew, and I did this in front of everybody. There was hundreds of people in the room. I said, you want to know who also was there in Colorado AdMax, right there with him? He said, yeah, I know Malachi is there in Colorado. Da, da, da. And then this is what this man said to me. Because I said, well, why are y'all pushing to get Larry out instead of pushing to get Dr. Malachi Z. York out? Please don't let the people ever act like I didn't spark this whole shit off, right? I said, why y'all pushing to get Barabbas out when Asa is in there? I literally said it, and my dad went on record on one of y'all elder shows and said it too. He said, y'all asking for Barabbas? Because that's how the story went. Everybody wanted Jesus Barabbas to get out, and they wanted Asa to be crucified. So here's what this man said to me. I said, yo, why y'all pushing to get Larry out instead of pushing to get the master teacher out, knowing that Larry Hoover, for one, is someone who studied Dr. York, for one.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who ever been close enough to the GD fire with the creed, all the stuff that they got, you know from just that alone where that information is coming from.
He would
When he
recommend
talking about
top
mind,
books. Mm-hmm.
Larry Hoover talking about mind, body, and soul. Big L, the overseer. All right, White is the overseer, the Najar, right? Talk about mind, body, and soul. He was the one who said put the G on the crown. You understand? From the knees to the crown, meaning from the root chakra up to the crown chakra. This is the creed. This is shit niggas don't know nothing about. And again, I could, if you know, out of certain respect to certain things I don't do, but if I wanted to, I could come on here and open up the doors to all the nation business and let people know what's going on behind the scenes and how you think you know because you see the renegade people going around doing what they're doing. But the real original guys, okay, not original gangsters, the original guys know why these organizations were set up to begin with, and why you have the book of knowledge, and why you got the food, and why you got the forks, and why you got the sun and the moon, why you had the 8 ball. Everybody understands it, but the masses don't. But Dr. York influenced the information that these people use to this day. You understand? Why you see the blue house and the red house? You say Bloods and Crips, okay? But it's still the blue house and the red house, okay? The GDs, growth and development, the blueprint, the Masons, it's all the same thing. Literally, we got a blueprint and we got a blueprint. You know what I'm saying? You'll see the G-G with the blueprint, and you'll see the Masons with the blueprint. Why? You understand? And why these words being used over and over again? What is 7-4? Why is 1974 really the important year? You understand? Coming right after that 1973, when the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was stepping past this reality, and there was another resurrection that was set to take place. The second resurrection. And that second resurrection was coming after the most honorable Elijah Muhammad left, which was right at the time period or that mark where Dr. Malachi York in 1970 opened the 7th seal and let all this growth and development information out. And we grabbed hold of it, and different nations and organizations went about their own way with it. Okay, which is why we were speaking about better communities and families to bring all these organizations together so they can put these puzzle pieces together, because the government came through and infiltrated, changed the history, okay, and made it be that now people think it was all about, oh, just fighting against the police and da-da-da-da-da. No, it's way deeper than that. The same thing with masonry. You understand? My purpose being Rod Hayes right up there under Larry Hoover, if you understand what I'm saying. So he was paying a lot of credence, listen to my wording, to Larry Hoover. And I didn't have no issue with that. I said, that's the overseer. I even showed Rod Hayes the Merkaba or Bakamir, all the science of that, the growth and development. I explained to him that when you say the word develop, okay, you're saying the word for Dawood or David, okay, because he kept talking about the kings and the Davids, all right? So you say King David or the kings walk in the land. I said, look at David. I said, I'll show you that, because the word for David in English is beloved. And if you flip beloved around, you get develop, all right? So development or development, belovedment, okay, you were speaking about David, and David had a star that was associated with him, and that star was speaking about the activated mind, body, and soul that Larry Hoover spoke about. Okay, so I acknowledged and respected Larry Hoover and his situation. You understand? I still inquired about why you would jump over Dr. Malachi York, who Larry Hoover respects, okay, and jump to get Larry out, knowing that Dr. Malachi York was in there. That's when Rod Hayes started to switch up what he was talking about and started to pay homage to Dr. Malachi York. All right, not just because I had a conversation and asked him a question. It's because how I came. It's because how I stepped forth. I said, you know, I'm not going to forget this, right? I'm not going to forget this day. I'm not going to forget this moment. It might seem like I'm just coming in this clubhouse room as all these other people are fans of you. I'm not a fan of a single solitary soul. You understand? I didn't come in here for that purpose. All right. So I asked him, I said, why are you not getting Dr. Malachi York out? Y'all could push to get him out. You got King, what do you call it? Kanye West and Drake already doing this falsified movement to get Larry Hoover out as a promo for their fucking album. You know what I'm saying? So why Larry Hoover got enough attention? Do you want to know who the world doesn't know about? Who's in the world and the world doesn't know who that is? You understand the darkness that was everybody is operating within and they haven't obtained that light? Do you want to know who that light is? People don't know, right? So I asked myself, why y'all not pushing to get him out? Here's what he said. He said, Malachi is already gonna get out. He said he don't need nobody to know who he in there because he about to get out anyway, right? That was back in 2021. So here go where the bullshit start to fester. Because if Dr. Malachi York gave you that message, because remember he kept saying he was getting messages from Baba. He's like, I got a left bump. His word was bump or knock, right? So he said, I got a bump from Baba right now for you, Faise. Baba said he proud of you. He see you, da-da-da-da-da. All right, so here go the bullshit. If you said that he gave you the message that he gonna get out and he don't need nobody to know he in there, then why now are you saying you fighting for him to get out and that he was supposed to be out by 2019? But I was around, you feel me? So they forget I was there to witness this and I asked you to help him. You understand? So now here we are 3 years later and people are coming around and saying that they're going to jump out and help him. You feel me? So the issue was, so here go the bigger bullshit. The bigger bullshit is not just what this man said. It's the fact that this phone call I got right here, I'm looking at it. It's 46 minutes and 55 seconds long. This phone call that I got from when Taba Jet went up in there with her lawyer, whoever her attorney was, and was talking to Dr. York for 40 minutes, right? This phone call has it where Pop says, the more people to know about this, the better. He said, the more the merrier. Whether we going to go through the First Step Act, you understand, and use their legalities and work it in that way, in that direction, or we're going to go through the nationalization, or we're going to go through the diplomatic status, or we're going to go through the trade in the prisoners. He spoke about this the whole call. So for him to say he want more people to know about it, Hayes should have never said that Pops don't need nobody to know he in there. You feel what I'm saying? Because he going to get out anyway. So the question being, why now? Why is niggas jumping out now, attaching themselves to the name, right? If he was already going to get out. No, niggas didn't want to stand on the truth. The truth was the one who should have been fought for from the beginning. That's for all of y'all. You Masons, you Moors, all y'all who turned y'all back on him. You Hebrew Israelites, he taught y'all. You understand? You NOI members, he taught y'all. Everybody that he taught turned their back on him and left him. That's why I still have questions for the NOI. That's why I have questions for Farrakhan. I'm holding on to that letter to Farrakhan until further notice. You understand? Because there's a master over that. All right. So I don't move until further notice about that or further instructions. Okay. But we still have questions for the NOI and the rest of y'all who know who that is. And at this moment, you know he's in prison. And we have on record with Farrakhan that he was aware that Malachi York was put in prison under trumped up charges. He literally said those words. He said,
yeah, everybody knows
charges.
that. Yeah, everybody knows that. He's
you with
in
me?
jail for Trump. Well,
Yeah,
I would
but
hope
everybody
yeah.
ain't Farrakhan.
Yeah.
Everybody don't have access to millions of men and resources, attorneys, and everybody respect Farrakhan that's in these different orders. You understand? So my bottom line is, yeah, I got that phone call. I put this clip out the same way I put the clip out where I was saying man sentenced to 135 years for speaking the truth, because there's not enough attention. There's not enough energy going toward getting him out. So I want to remind y'all who are on here, one more thing. I want to remind y'all who are on here, right, that the biggest test out of all of this was y'all allowed the beast to deceive you. You allowed the beast to deceive you into thinking that he could actually be imprisoned. You understand? You were never supposed to do that. You were supposed to, for one, see the fallacy. You cannot lock that being up. The same way people say free Baba Yanun, I said that doesn't make sense, because Baba Yanun cannot be imprisoned. Not in this reality, not on this plane.
That's a fact.
You understand? Neither can any of the other masters. You cannot arrest or apprehend Melchizedek or Malachi Sadek or Malachi Zoduk. You can't imprison him. You cannot imprison El Qadir.
So
Okay.
have you?
So
Did you see the
go ahead.
thing that Tabitha? Did you see the thing that Tabitha's supposed to be doing
When?
with Sakina? It's supposed to be on March 10th.
What is it?
Because I was talking about, well, because you spoke about it, you posted on your page about the fraud. So I was basically showing them all of the fraud, the documents and everything to the fraud, the attachments to it,
Right.
proving that
What are they supposed to be
it
doing on the
was,
10th?
huh?
What are they
Oh, I
supposed
don't
to be?
know. No, she said that I believe we were looking, we were live earlier and we were talking about, it was a flyer that's being posted.
Yeah, Nunette.
Tabitha's supposed to be doing another live about Sakina. Basically, I'm assuming that she's going to be presenting all the fraud that's been occurring for the past couple of years, or shall I say, all the land grabbing that's been happening, obviously from the state of Georgia all the way to New York City.
Right. So I got a question. Okay, so Tabitha obviously has some type of access to Dr. Melikazi York because I listened to this phone call. He knows who she is, obviously. They had a whole
Mm-hmm.
conversation. He was breaking certain things down to her, sharing information. She was supposed to be in certain meetings, is what she was saying. She said Fatima York, and she named some other people. Didn't allow for her to attend those meetings, and they went ahead and pushed some paperwork that they weren't supposed to push.
Mm-hmm.
Major question I have right now, right? Why has Tabitha been set off to herself? Why does it seem like somebody who has been, and again, I'm 25 years old, so a lot of these things I wasn't there to witness myself. However, my parents were, my aunt was. Okay, a lot of people I know personally have been around for these things to tell me certain pieces of information. Why does it seem like Tabitha had no support from the nation of the Nubians nor the Sabians, but people like Waki did, people all over across the board had the support, and it seemed like those people who had the support and who were in position to help them out the most, they neglected to do so. But the ones who've been at least pushing and doing the works that I'm able to see for myself and hear for myself, they got ostracized and isolated. Why did that happen?
Because majority of, see, the reality of it is people follow, you know what I'm saying, without doing their research, so when it comes down to Tabitha, I have respect for Tabitha, so I don't have anything ill or bad, anything bad to say about her. In regards to all of the people, they control the mass. So it's like literally like a cult. You can tell them that that it's not true, but they're not going to listen if these people they feel like it's going to take away from them being a part of something. You get what I'm saying? So technically the truth get buried underneath. I tried to expose, the fraud years ago in which I was showing documentations that I have proof of, and these people tried to kill me. So I mean, to me that's a proven fact that it's a consistency of what's happening. Is if somebody actually stands on his behalf or someone that's trying to support him, they're going to ostracize them, and everybody in the organization is going to go against them, and they're going to call them the devil, demon, or specifically black devil. You know what I'm saying? And I've been paying attention to this. It's been happening for years.
Okay. Why do a lot of Dr. Melikazi York's children still follow Nikki Lopez and Jacob York?
Because they know them personally. That's personal.
Okay, they can know him personally. You know him
That's a
personally.
personal thing, huh?
You know Jacob York
Yeah,
personally.
but I don't follow. Notice I don't follow them. I don't follow him. Even
And
my
you
brother,
yep,
I
and you
don't.
know Nikki
Why? Because
Lopez.
my brother, tried to tell me to go against my father years ago, and I said no.
How did he
I
yes.
was not with that.
Okay, so
I'm not.
this
I'm
is
not. I'm not with
this is
that.
the type of thing that needs to be explained about. How did he try to do that? What happened with that?
That well, first of all, I was young. I was on the streets pretty much around that age, and he told me. He said, if you come, if you come do this stuff against Pops, then I'll come take care of you, and I have all of this money and I can do this for you and all of that. And I refused it. I said no. So they left me on the streets. He told
When
me
was
to
this?
disown him.
This was
He told me to disown him as a brother. So I did.
when was
This
this?
was years ago. This was
Before
sheesh.
2000 or after 2000?
No, this was before 2000.
righteous because they came in 2002. Look, this is what I'm saying. That's not noted. You understand that I'm going to
I
be,
mentioned
I'm
it
the
on
one who get
Moorish World TV, but people ignored it. He actually
Morris
came up
World
on
TV.
Moorish
Listen,
World TV.
listen. Just pay attention to what I'm trying to show you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay. To a lot of these people, these are views. To a lot of these people, this is a conversation that can be had and they can be a part of for whatever the fucking reason. That's what it is to a lot of these people. That's what it was to Sabnetta. That's what it's the blog talk niggas. They whole gang, all of them.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's a conversation that it's some giddy shit they can get over on, and then boom, their lives continue. They don't care anything about
That's
Pops.
a fact. That's exactly how I feel about it, all the way across the board. They don't care, and just to hear one of his kids crying out, they don't care about that either. It's like, oh yeah, let's get the story and then run off, and that's it. We're gonna get views for this and keep it
So
moving. This,
the
as a matter of
difference.
fact, this is now let's talk about it. Faise, you know what year was my father incarcerated, or what day?
May 8, 2002.
Now, why is it that he's signing documents, or someone forged his document June 30th, 2002?
How?
They did.
How? What?
And whoever
What I'm
did it
saying.
lives right here.
Okay. Where's the signature? Let me see the signature.
Oh, I got full documents. That's not his signature. I have his original signatures.
So what was that for?
Stealing properties. This was the dismantling of his trust. This is how they dismantled the trust. So as a matter
Who
of fact,
did
I need
this?
to
Who
send that
signed
to
it?
somebody. It said they said he signed it, remember, but he was incarcerated. So how could he have signed this?
Yeah, who signed?
That's a good question.
Okay, so maybe the same person who gave him the lawyer signed that paper.
Yeah, exactly.
So who gave him a lawyer?
Patricia Lewis, Sakina.
Okay,
But
because he
she
was
wasn't
saying
the only one that signed it. You know
he
who
put
signed this?
Garland off. He never asked for Garland. He put
Mm-hmm.
Garland off.
And
Okay.
who gave him Garland?
Didn't Waukee have
Ah,
something to do with
there
him?
we go. There's the answer.
Mm.
There's your answer. There's your answer. So now you pay attention to how the cookie crumbles. That's why I said earlier, it could be your own sibling taking you down and you don't even know it.
Hey, what was you saying about Sinetta and Morris World, Faye?
Salmonella? You mean salmonella?
Salmonella.
They do things
All
for clout.
Huh?
yeah, they did it for clout. Well, I can't say Morris World because Morris was still nice to me, but yeah, a lot of people, they did it for clout.
You mean like putting you on a platform and all that?
Yeah,
Got you. Got you.
it didn't get anywhere.
Okay. When did Pop say Waukee, or when did Waukee say something about her getting an email from Pops? When did that happen?
It was about 2 weeks ago.
Did she say anything about that email?
No, she was supposed to, but she didn't. She's supposed to be communicating back and forth with me. My father told her to communicate back and forth with me. And
But
that's been like bumping my head up against the wall. And I sent that right now he knows that it's been hard for me to get to him through her. So, and that's because she's steady fixated on, am I going to take her back to court?
who was over the coffin spell?
Who's over what?
The coffin spell.
Coffin spell?
Yeah. Top Jet spoke about a coffin spell.
Right. How they put all
The
his stuff
snake
in
and
a
tongue ritual. Yep.
right. They put all his shit in a coffin and they did a spell over it.
Yeah, it's
Well,
actually some sisters that I know that told me they attended.
that's
They didn't
interesting.
know
I
what they
didn't know
were
anything
getting
about that.
into, but they said they attended. Who was over that coffin spell?
I don't know. All I know is he came to me and asked me to do spiritual work, and I did it. That's what y'all see on my page right now, where y'all see I got crowned.
Yeah, you going to ask Tabitha that phase.
Yeah, because it seemed like Tabitha Jet was the one everybody was saying don't talk to.
Or
No,
Amanuma.
Tabitha Jet is the one everybody needs to be listening to.
That's why I listen.
She's
That's why I
telling the
listen to her.
truth. She's telling the truth about a lot of stuff.
That's why I listen
These
to her.
people, they just want to discredit her because she doesn't want to fall with their bullshit. She's not listening to them, or she doesn't fall in line. She's not a puppet. They can't just tell her what to say and she's just gonna say it like everybody else.
So here go the big question. Why do a lot of his children still follow Nikki Lopez and Jacob York?
That's between them. That's that. Like I said, they know these people personally.
Okay,
That's their
that's what I'm saying. So
brother.
look,
That's
you
like
know them
somebody
personally,
asking
but
you that's like, wait, that's like somebody asking you a question about, your sibling. Like, why are you still following your sibling?
yeah,
That's
if
still
my
their
sibling
sibling.
got my
That's
parent
still their
locked
sibling.
up for life and I
And,
know that
and
my
that's
parent
their
is innocent,
personal, but
I'm
you gotta think about it.
disassociating
That's their
myself.
personal connect. That's their personal connection to that person.
Yeah, you have a
I don't,
personal connection
trust
in
me,
life. You don't have a personal connection on so.
I've had arguments with my siblings as well in regards to that. There's a lot of my siblings I do not speak to because of association.
So look at what I'm saying, right? You got personal connections with your family in life, not on social media.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to follow them on social media to still have that that's my brother still connection.
Once again, that's a question you might have to ask them personally.
I know the answer.
Okay. What's the answer? Because they're all looking for clout?
Everybody who still follow Nikki Lopez either had hands in Dr. Melikazi York being in prison, or
I
they're
believe that.
benefiting from his imprisonment in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
And that's a fact.
Wait,
That's a fact.
wait, hold on.
I
So
believe
you
that as
asking
well.
basically if so what you're saying is if Jacob York was responsible of getting Dr. York incarcerated,
He is.
why are his brothers and sisters still fuck with him?
Not just why do his brothers and sisters still fuck with him? Like, what are you talking? No, I'm saying it could have been their brother, it could have been a cousin, it could have been anybody.
Okay.
They know he lied.
Right.
This is the weird thing. They know he lied to get him in prison. Yet you can still see Sal, the rest of them taking pictures with him.
Oh, right. So right.
Yeah, but look
So
at, pay
okay.
attention to this. Notice this. Pay attention to this.
And
They
Jacob
all
York, go ahead, because I got
want to
something to
be
say.
they all want to be a part of a lifestyle that my father never encouraged or never taught us. So that when it comes down to these music industry stuff and all of this is
That's
stuff
what
my
it
father
is.
never taught us. So these people they want to be a part of something that our father was totally against.
That makes sense.
So look at it like
So
this.
basically they're gonna follow him because obviously it benefits them to follow him, because if Pops was out,
They'll right. It'll be
So
strict. It'll be
then
strict.
that's yo, all the truth gonna come out this year.
oh yeah.
Everything, because this it. This it. I done held my tongue on a lot of things, but this is where you watch the motherfuckers who just be around and you wonder why he around. I was that motherfucker because I
mean,
heard a
and
lot
then
of things said in the dark. I've heard a lot of things said in the shadows. Here's what I also know. Puff and Jacob was like this.
who,
What
Puff
Puff
Daddy?
Daddy?
Oh, P.
Talking
Yeah,
about
Diddy?
Diddy?
Yeah,
Wow.
Oh,
I'm
they
very
was
aware
the
of that. I knew him
they was probably
personally.
fucking.
No, I
Puff
don't know about that
and
part.
Jacob was right. There was the Bad Boys. What else was it? Yorktown Records,
Junior Mafia.
Wow.
Junior Mafia
Junior
was
Mafia.
Junior Mafia was one of the artists, well, a group of artists that Jacob was uh managing along with Little Kim. And Pops went against that. He said that he see the destruction that it was going to cause on our people, and which we see it today. You know what I'm saying? With Little Kim, the hair, the
Yep,
we see what
yep.
it is. You
And
get what I'm
Pop
saying?
said
So
on
Pops
record,
wasn't agreeance to it. So because he wasn't in agreement to it, he became a problem. No, he did not fund it. He refused to fund that type of shit. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Mm.
He said on record too that Jacob York threatened to kill him because he wouldn't sign Lil Kim, because he wouldn't put money behind Lil Kim. He asked him for money for Lil Kim. He was on the land, and Jake came to him asking for some money, and he was like, "Yo, who's Lil Kim?" He said he went and looked into her. And he said he found out that basically she was a prostitute, a harlot
Mm.
that was being used to promote the same thing he was speaking about in Leviathan 666, right? So he's like, no, I can't support that. So he said Jacob hopped in his car and swerved off the lane. He said he almost hit a child and everything. He
Damn.
swerved off the lane, and he said then 6 months later he called Pops and was like, when I see you, I'm gonna shoot you in the head. I'm gonna come down there, I'm gonna shoot you in your head. And Pops was like, okay. He said, what do you think all these guys standing around here is gonna do? He said, you think they just gonna stand around while you shoot me? You know what I mean? He said he became vexed, right? He became vexed because of the fact that Pops wouldn't help. When next thing you know, there's a case. So here go the weird thing about Jake, right? Because you already seeing how weird P. Diddy is and shit coming out, right? Weird thing about Jake is if you were saying that beyond a shadow of a doubt, your father did all these things, why would you still be asking him for money and shit? So here's what Dr. York said on record, and I'm gonna find the call. I'm gonna do a documentary on all this shit. It don't take me long to do nothing.
This is
Right?
the notary that committed the fraud too. I just want to make sure I put that out there. The information.
Uh-huh.
The notary that dismantled his trust and everything.
Right.
Damn.
Dr. York said on record that Jacob York got put off of Tama Ray for molesting somebody.
No, not Tamaray. It was Ansar Law Community.
He said the land.
But it was it was in Ansar Law Community as well.
I have to go back and hear what he said, but he said the land. He said Jake got put off of the land for molesting somebody. Well, so then you know something else then. So look,
I mean,
that lines
I'm
up.
his daughter. Trust me, I know a lot.
Okay, so look, that lines up because Omi Barbara gave me a letter, right? And this was in 2022 when Atmos and Lifeway got out of mind. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be right there because niggas be having you fucked up through the phone. So I showed up to the bookstore when no niggas disappeared. Now I told the same reason why niggas ain't want to give me no addy or nothing when they were doing all this popping on live, right? So I said I'm gonna be right there. I'm gonna see if niggas got that same energy when I show up, right? I showed up to the bookstore when nobody there but the elders, right? So out of respect for the elders, you know that shit got to be on water anyway. I still walked into the building, and Omi Barbara was saying, "This just it was what it was." She said she was expecting me. But she ain't said to that degree. She was saying, I know your grandfather, who my grandfather is passed. His name was Hanif, Bodhi's father, right? She said, I know your grandfather, right? She used to date my grandfather. She said, I got something for you. She gave me 2 letters, all right? Each of those letters had different messages on it that seemed like Pop was speaking directly to me. And this was around the same time a lot of the Sabians were coming out on Clubhouse attacking Christianity in the different rooms, Duswa, the rest of these people, right? Or Basil and the rest of these people. And
Damian Pryor and the rest of these people.
Damon Pryor.
Whatever the hell his name is.
Explaining that Pops wouldn't have had us on that type of timing, not this late in the game. You're not going around trying to attack anybody for their religion or anything. That's not what we were ever focused on to begin with. It was all about truth for one. But they're still trying to be Dr. York in the 70s and 80s. But he advanced us beyond 70s and 80s. So we shouldn't have been on none of that. So I addressed that. But he started off the letter with our father, which art in Orion, right? Which was the same thing I had just been breaking down about. He was speaking about Orion. He said, our father, which art in Orion. He went into a whole lot of different things about his diplomatic status, his birth certificate. There was something going on with his birth certificate, but he finally got that figured out. This was 2022 now. He was thanking Omi Barbara for walking with him for all those years. He said, looking after me, you know, putting money in my books, all this other stuff. He was thanking her. And then he said, the truth is about to come out. He said about who he said, the true molesters. He put an S on it. He said about who the true molesters are. He said Jake York. He spelled it Jake Yorke, right? He said Jake York. He said who is Yakub Johnson, right? Yakub Johnson. And I think another tone he used was Yakub Muhammad, something to that effect, right? He said he said like Jake York or Yakub Johnson or Yakub Muhammad. He was saying he was the true molester. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying to you, it's lining up in his writings, which I've been privy to read. Okay, for some reason, if anybody get a letter and they in proximity to me, it somehow always end up in my hand, even if I ain't asked. As a matter of fact, I never asked if somebody got a letter. They always present to me a letter, and they give it to me to read without any hesitation. All right, it's been happening like that since I was 14. Okay, So he said Jacob York was put out the land because he molested somebody, and he also named him to be one of the true molesters. So here go the question: who are these other molesters? Now we know Tariq Noel's sister, Nikki Lopez,
who molested Solomon.
right?
Go ahead.
Who is Solomon? Sal?
Yeah.
Okay, well then Sal, yeah, that's a whole nother conversation because I know Sal still followed Jacob. He's still
There we
out
go.
with Jacob. But I
Cookie
think I
crumbles.
might have seen Sal indicated near Nikki. You know, I do my own work now, my own investigation. But I'm gonna have to look into that because the here go the thing. It wasn't just Sal, it was Kush. Another, I don't know if you know who Kush is.
I know who Kush Martinez is.
The KUW.
Yeah, I know who I know these people.
Okay, I shot music videos for Kush. I work real closely with Kush. So when you work real closely with people, here's what they tend to do. They get comfortable. You don't got to get nobody drunk. Get them comfortable. When they get comfortable, all right, and their guard is down, they tend to talk like you just a random person. That's one of the ways that you find out shit. So he was talking to me because I get to ask him questions and shit. People don't understand where I'm going with it because you don't know nobody. You don't think I'm anybody. Same way Sal didn't even know I was Bodie's son until after he got wrong with me, right? And we handled that like men in a square way, right? Kush was like, he was 14 years old. He was bragging. He like, I was 13, 14 years old fucking Nikki. And Nikki was grown. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so right there, I know that at one point in time, it may have been 16 years, what is it? The statutory, or what was it? The age of consent was 16 years at one point in time.
It was 15 at one point. Shoot, I know an old man that'll tell you that people were getting married back in the days at that age. During that time, they changed those laws back in 2000s, like almost like around the time my father got locked up.
Right. So it was 16. I know for sure it was 16 at that time.
16 to be
right?
considered an emancipated minor. Yes.
Yes. So he was 14. That's a minor.
Yeah, that's a minor.
You understand what I'm saying to you? So people look at the molestation and think only molestation and say somebody is doing something to do. No. Oftentimes it was willing participants that thought they were grown. That still doesn't negate the fact that it was a crime.
That it was a child.
Tariq Noel is on record acknowledging in that big room that happened. Remember that big room that they did on Clubhouse?
Oh, yeah.
I was the reason that room happened because they did a room prior to that. Nobody knows about that room. The room prior was, they were saying NOI, Hebrew Israelites, Moors, and they put Nuwapians at the end. It was like all confusion. I said, well, damn, about time you put Nuwapians somewhere because y'all didn't want to acknowledge that the Nuwapian happened at all, right? So we were in there. After a while, because I walked in that room, no one was talking about the NOI, the Moors, Masons, or none of that because all that shit became obsolete. The main conversation was Nuwabians. So they closed that room and opened up a whole nother room about Dr. York. They tried to claim that it was unbiased. No, the whole shit was biased. But in that room, Tariq Noel, okay, because all this shit is documented for me. Because I had Iris come in the room. Sal came. I brought Sal in the room. I brought every time somebody said a name, except Wayla, because I didn't know who that was. But when people were trying to figure out who people were and they mentioned the names, I knew all of them. So I was like, yo, come in this room. And I brought everybody together and we had that big room. Finally, you could hear the paralegal reading the, what was it? The Tariq mama named Betty, ain't it? Because it was.
No, his mother's name is Barbara Noels.
So it's Barbara Noel. Okay, so it's a few Barbaras. All right, or okay? It might have been Umi Betty then who gave. I think I might have switched the names around, but I had to.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask you who's Umi Betty is. I was gonna ask you that, but I was just like, let me just let it ride.
No. Umi Barbara is what I said.
Okay.
She be at the culture
Barbara
center,
is
but it might be Umi Betty.
His mother's name is Barbara.
Huh?
I bet his mother's name is Barbara.
Yes. So that came up in the conversation, so that's clear because she had bribe Pops out of 5,000 or 50,000, one of them. I think it was 5,000. She was saying that if he was giving her 5,000 or 50,000, I have to go back and listen, that she was gonna make all of this go away. If he could give her 5 installments of 1,000.
She wanted money.
Like black
and he told her no.
And he didn't do it.
Yeah, he didn't do it. Not only that, she was already bitter because he told her not to have a baby. And she turned around and still had this baby because he told her that she was too old to have a baby. And ever since then, she was bitter because he told her not to, and the baby came out with problems.
He retarded.
This and
Tariq is
we
retarded.
cannot say that. We
I can
cannot
say
say.
that.
But the baby came out with
So I be
issues,
looking
but
at this man.
it's
Look,
I mean, it was my little sister, so she also passed after this
I thought
situation, after
you were
all of
talking
this
about
occurred.
Tariq. I
No,
didn't mean
I'm
Tariq
talking
was
about his
retarded.
mother. I'm talking about his mother. They come from the same, that is his mother
Uh-huh.
that still had that baby with my father, that my father
Yeah.
said, do not have that
Yeah.
baby. And then this is when they all started becoming bitter, when he
Mhm.
told her that you're too damn old to be having kids, that you should not be having this kid.
Right. Okay, well then her
David
gene just
also
so
thought that David was raised, while him being raised in the community, he also thought that my father was his father. And I do recall being that person that used to tell him, you are not my brother. Because I don't have no problem telling people who the hell's not my brother, because I ain't claiming extra people when I got 116, 20 brothers and
yeah,
sisters.
you got
I don't
enough.
need extra people numbers. I don't need extra people's birthdays to remember. So I remember being on that land telling him that. And as a kid, he grew bitter from finding out that Pops was not his father.
Okay, wait a minute. Tariq is not Dr. York's son?
No, he's not.
Mm.
So why the fuck do he still be saying he his dad?
Because he's still obviously mentally traumatized. That's not
And
his
he
father.
retarded. So look, I be looking at this shit because I remember being in a room
This,
where they did
this
all
is
this
why,
shit at, huh?
not for nothing, but this is why I stress the whole, people need to be honest about who their father is, because this literally had a cause and effect on people that I watched, had a cause and effect on them.
When we were on Roman Clubhouse,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't know where he was at. I had to keep reminding him, like, yo, we on Clubhouse, right? Like, he didn't know what the fuck was going on.
May I
He
add,
only
do you
got
know
like
that he
he only got like
recanted
a
his statement 4
5-minute time
times?
span where he overstand, and then he got to reset. So within them different 5-minute increments that were beating his ass, he said he recanted his statement once.
4
Then he
times.
came around and said he recanted his statement twice. Then he came around and said he recanted his statement 3 times. And I was the only one saying, wait a minute.
It
Is
was done
anybody
4
else?
times.
If you recant your damn statement, you gonna remember how many times you said that shit. So here's what you're saying. You telling me it didn't happen. You came back around and said it did happen. Then you came
Mm-hmm.
back around and said it didn't happen again, or it didn't happen. No, bro, that's
That's
perjury. So either you
facts.
have immunity that's been granted by the federal government,
Mm-hmm.
all right, or the federal government and you is retarded and they don't know what perjury is
That
anymore, just in this
part.
particular case.
That part.
Because even Abigail was perjured.
Yes.
But they only thing was they tried to use that the recantment came after whatever the 8 years was supposed to be, or however many it was. I think it was 48 years that it had to be that the
Mm-hmm.
recantment showed up. So they might have brought the recantment around late. But the key thing I'm telling you is they're on record. That whole Clubhouse call perjured a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
because they was acknowledged. And then Pauline Rogers' daughter Wayla came in. I didn't even know Pauline Rogers had a daughter, so
Yeah,
I never heard Wayla's name
she has
until that
3
night.
kids. She has 3 kids by my father.
Uh-huh.
Actually, 2 left because one of them passed, because she also had a child that had birth defects.
In Virginia, I think that was what the child was living in Virginia at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know how I know that? Because I was sitting right there. My mama was doing a reading for my mom was speaking about this with my aunt, right? And she used to do readings. And with the reading, Pauline Rogers came to my mama and was like, she wanted to ask her about whether or not she should go forth with bringing charges against Dr. York, right? And the charges had to do with money. She was
Here's the
saying he
list
wasn't
of recantments right here. I have the list of recantments.
right, and we can get into that too. So the charges had to do with money, and
Look.
she was saying that he wasn't taking care of whoever the child was, maybe the child you're speaking about, in Virginia. So my mama
Mm-hmm.
did the reading, and she was like, no. She was like, just from off the conversation they was having, she was like, "You're not even taking care of the child. You're not in Virginia with the damn child." And exactly, she was mad about food, talking about the food situations and all this other stuff. And Pop wasn't over any of that,
She
right?
wanted money.
Yeah, her whole thing was finances or money.
Yes.
So next thing you
She told
know,
me that that's why she went to Sheriff Seals. She said that they said that they was going to pay her and give her money. And when they realized that they wasn't getting paid, that's when they realized that they did something wrong and now they stuck. They couldn't get money from neither party.
exactly. I
All
remember
of these
that being
people, they were told that they were going to get paid for doing this stuff, and they did not get
yeah,
paid at all. So
yeah,
now they fishing, and even still to this day, probably ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And now they trying to get as much social media platforms so people could feel sympathy for their ass, so they could collect money from out of
yeah,
others.
yeah. That's what Nikki
That's what they
Lopez
do.
did, the ID channel documentary. That's
Come
why
on,
she did the
man.
documentary. That's why they still trying to do what was it? Paramount was talking
Yeah,
about doing a
yeah,
documentary.
Paramount, and they came to me directly, and I told them, if my name or anything pop up anywhere, I'm taking y'all asses to court, and I'm gonna own this shit.
Right.
See, the
And look,
difference between me is like she said, always got documents. That's
I
one
was
thing about
offered
me.
to
I could
be
prove all of this shit.
I was offered to be on the Paramount documentary because the brother Eli York was coming through, and he was saying, if y'all gonna use my family your name or this story, then y'all gonna at least pay us, because they weren't talking about paying nobody, right? They were just
There
gonna
we
do the
go.
story like it's some historical shit that
Mm-hmm.
they want to document. But
Mm-hmm.
somehow they always find a way to turn the story, flip it, and make Pops like a monster. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what they did with the ID channel documentary. I was watching the ID channel documentary at a person's house, home, whose name the only name I haven't mentioned yet, okay, which I may ratify, because we have some situations where I'm gonna have to know. I don't know who nobody think I am, but I don't play when it comes to Pops. You feel what I'm saying? There's one thing about it. And if I'm asking about Pops, that was not the time, just because you didn't want me to do the letter to 21 Savage, for you to tell me you didn't have no information for me. Okay, because now I got questions for you, right? So that's gonna come, trust me, right? In the meantime, I was at his house and we were watching the documentary, and it was the ID channel documentary. I came over to his house to watch the documentary. Guess who was over there? Habiba Washington, right? Now I'm sitting there, she watching the documentary, I'm watching he watching the documentary, and she just frozen in place. And I didn't know it was Habiba Washington, right? So and first of all, she looked different. It's been 20 damn years at that point. So I'm watching the documentary. She watched. Next thing you know, she speaks to me. She, and it was even her soul. Her soul is stagnant. That's all I can explain. She don't know me. She don't know why I was over there. But when she looked at me, it was like she was petrified. You feel what I'm saying? And then she went on out the house, and he was like, "Yo, you know who that was?" Because we got to talking about the documentary. He said, "You know who that was?" I said, "No, who was that?" He said, "That was Habiba Washington." He said, "That was Abigail." I said, "I didn't even know." I said, "I wouldn't even known that." So
This is
go ahead.
Tariq Knowles' signature of the recanted
Read the
statements.
recantment.
This is
Oh,
the
wow.
recantment.
Read the recantment.
Shall I send you? I'm gonna send this to you. How about
No,
that?
read it.
I don't like reading this type of stuff live for reasons.
Okay, well, you want to send it to me? I'll
Because I
read it.
don't want them to say, well, she said this. I
No,
want
he
them to
said it.
see
It's on
this.
writing. We're looking at it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I rather give people this actual document. You get what I'm saying? Y'all want it? I could give you the document itself. All you gotta do is send me your email, and I'm gonna send you the entire document. That's the
Okay,
thing
look, while
about
we on
me.
live right now, send it to me.
Oh
I'm about to read it.
yeah, oh yeah. That's how you do it. If you want the recanted statements, here it is right here. I'll just send it to
Look,
you.
I'm
My
telling you
email,
to send it to me.
my email is.
No,
Oh,
I'm
hold
gonna
on.
give you
Text
my
your email.
email, and
Okay,
you
okay. Tell me your email.
hit the little button and be like, send. You know what I mean? I'm gonna read the shit, because look, people don't know this. And when you read the recanted statements and you like, wait, this is a lot of detail. This shit saying a lot of shit, right? You'll realize, you'll see what these folks had really going on. My bad, I had voice. I'm like, who the fuck is this? All right,
What's
yeah,
your
let's send
email?
it to me real quick.
What's your email?
Faise1, Faise. I'm gonna send it to you, ONE.
Mm-hmm.
The word productions, the number 9, You got it?
Mm-hmm.
At gmail.com.
Faise1 Productions at gmail.com, correct?
Pt.1 Productions 9. Yep, at gmail.com. Send some, and we get into it. I'm like that.
Hey, Uma, is that the same one you trying to send to us over the
Yep.
summer, last summer?
Yep.
And
Sure is.
niggas didn't want to come
Yep.
get it.
That's exactly what that is.
Mm, mm, mm,
Exactly that
mm.
document I was trying to send y'all. Yep, that's exactly it.
Ain't nobody
Got you,
told me
got you.
shit.
Okay. Huh?
Ain't
Now
nobody,
we was
nobody
trying to
told me shit because I would have took that whole document.
we actually were trying to get what actually I was trying to
No, I
connect
hit you up. I
you.
hit you up. Hold on. I hit you up about it, Faze.
He
I hit you
No,
up
definitely
you hit
about
me
it.
up
I
about
remember
meeting
that.
people. I said I'm not meeting. I'm not meeting. I said that, but you didn't hit me up saying, "Yo, we got documents with the recanted statements on it." You were talking about
we
doing a meeting. I even came on here and said I'm not doing all that. Going to
because you'll
places.
see that I sent it to Sunra, you see?
Yeah, you sent it to him, but
11/11/23.
he didn't send it to me.
You know.
Faye, I told you about the meeting we was having.
Yeah, you told
I
me about
told
the
you about
meeting.
it.
I said I'm not going to no public. I said that. Anybody know me? I don't go to no public
It's
spaces or
not.
none
It
of that
wasn't
unless
public.
I'm
It's hold on.
surprising a
It
It
motherfucker.
wasn't
wasn't.
public.
It wasn't.
It
It
was
was
a
private. It
private
was me,
location.
Uma. It was not public. It was a
Meaning I
private
don't go.
meeting.
I'm not meeting no.
Okay, fair. Hey,
Yo,
That's
Sunrise,
the
why you
hey,
acting
that's
so the
brand new,
reason
bro?
so
that's fine.
wait.
That's
So the
fine. Hold, wait,
reason
hold
why
on.
I
That's
understand, but the reason why it was going to the reason why it wasn't just about these documents. There's more documents that are not
right.
on that's not here that people would need to get directly from me.
Right. Right. I it wasn't no party. We wasn't finna go drink or nothing. And I was just trying to keep you included. That's all it was. So if you don't want me to invite you nowhere, that's fine. But I was just trying to keep you included. That's the whole thing I was doing. You know
What
what I'm
I'm
saying?
saying is, nigga, you still got the email and you didn't send the shit to me. You ain't be like, I got the email.
You didn't even respond to my. You didn't even. Faye, you
I
didn't even
came on here.
respond.
I didn't respond to your DM. I came on here and said it. Am I lying? I came on here and said, "Oh no, I'm not, y'all. I'm not going to the thing because I don't do public." I remember, nigga, I was sitting on a washing machine talking to y'all.
So you
That's
remember
how
this is so
detailed my
this is
memory
in
is,
20
nigga.
remember this is November 11th, 2023, that this conversation was
Yes,
done, I believe, a month before that. It was actually done during the summer. And
yes.
then I
Right.
eventually gave Sunrod the documents.
Okay, so all right. All I'm saying, Sunrise just didn't give it to me. I ain't tripping. I got the documents now. I'm not tripping.
And that's
But like
some
I
of the
said, it's a
documents.
lot of
I
that.
have more documents. I have a lot of, I have all the documents from the fraud all the way to the recanted statements and everything.
Let me
What
check my
page
email. I
was
don't think I.
Do they have
Let
This
me
is
let me
why
check
these
page?
my email.
people is
Yeah.
trying to kill my ass, huh?
What page was the what page
The
was
recantment.
Tariq Noel shit
You
on?
want specifically his recanted statements.
Yeah.
The signed one. Hold on one second. Let me go back into the document.
Oh, I
Give me a
see it,
second.
David.
Hey,
Tariq
Uma, you said
David
you sent
Noel.
it. What date you sent it so I can open
11
it?
11.
Okay, let me check that. I gotta
Oh,
check that
and look,
out.
it's document 11.
Wow. Okay.
Right? Check this out. Affidavit of Tariq David Noel.
Mm-hmm.
All
And
right.
you see I sent you all of them. Every single one of
This
them.
had to be, wasn't this what Bashir was going around making to be the nigga sign? Or was this another one?
No, this was done in front of a lawyer. This was
Yeah,
done
I think
this was
Bashir
done
set this up.
right in front of the Clark County, Georgia.
Okay. I, Tariq Noel, being first duly sworn and being competent to testify and having personal knowledge of the facts herein, states as following. Okay, he ain't write this.
Yeah, no, he didn't. No, he didn't
He
write
ain't
that.
write this shit.
You know that
No.
man ain't write
That
that.
nigga would have,
That
no,
yeah, but
he didn't write this shit. He would have had a heart attack trying to write
another
that shit.
reason, there's reasons why I can't, why I'm not gonna go publicly
But he
but you
signed
have
it,
every
which means
right
that
to.
they read
You
it
can
to
do
him.
it.
They asked him if he understood it.
Yeah.
I know how the shit go. Okay, boom. So my name is Tariq Noel. I was born October 25th, 1985. I make this affidavit of my own free will. No one has threatened or coerced me to make it.
Y'all hear
Nor have I been offered anything of value in return for making this affidavit. I am prepared to make this affidavit in order to tell the truth and let it be known. I am hereby affirming that the majority of my testimony at the federal criminal trial of Dwight York, Malachi York, was false, specifically in the area of my personal sexual activity. I am also stating that I did not engage in any type of sexual activity with Mr. York, including oral sex or anal sex, nor did I witness Mr. York engage in sexual activity or any inappropriate sexual behavior with any minors or adults. I deny having any sexual involvement with Mr. York in upstate New York at age 7 or any age. I deny having watched or seen any pornographic cartoons or inappropriate adult material with Mr. York, nor any adult, specifically Chandra Lampkin, was also
Mm-hmm.
Nijla
Mm-hmm.
Nejla, at
Mm-hmm.
any time. I deny being involved in any sexual activity or witnessing any inappropriate behavior with Mr. York or any adults, as I testified in court, specifically Kathy Johnson, Chandra Lampkin, or Khadijah Merritt, while living in Edenton, Georgia. I deny having or witnessing any sexual intercourse,
Mm.
including oral nor anal, involving Khalid Eddington, Eddie, Issa Johnson, and Abdul Salam Shalimu, Shilamu, with Mr. York, Kathy Johnson, Chandra Lampkin, or Khadijah Merritt. I testified falsely against Malachi York, Kathy Johnson, Chandra Lampkin, and Khadijah Merritt for several reasons. The main reason was the threats made against me by FBI agent Joan Croner and FBI agent Richard Moultrie. I was told by Joan Croner that if I denied the allegations, that my mother would be incarcerated for fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then that meant not only was Nikki factored or indicated, his mama was indicated
Mm-hmm.
for fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, boom. I didn't, that's coercion, by the way, not just a threat.
Yes, that is. That's
I
coercion.
didn't
Look
know
ahead.
my legal rights, and I was told that several individuals involved my name falsely in these allegations. At that age, you don't know that you can disagree with the FBI. The specifics of my testimony come from stories that were forced on me by FBI agents Joan Croner and Richard Moultrie. I felt trapped to go along with the allegations in order to protect my family, including my mother, Barbara Noel, and my
Mm-hmm.
sisters, Nicole Lopez, and what is it, Amala
Amala,
Noel.
also known as Amanda.
Okay, Amanda Noel, from the threats of being incarcerated. Okay, so why would Nikki and them have been incarcerated other than the fact that Jacob, right, had already said that he went to the feds about all of them, Abigail, all them being involved in sex with minors and all kind of other stuff that they was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I hereby
They all got
certify
thrown
that
under the
on this
bus.
12th day of July 2007, before me, the subscriber, a notary public in and for the state and country, for said personally appeared Tariq Noel, known to me or satisfactorily proven to be the person whose name is subscribed to the within instrument, and did acknowledge that executed the same for the purposes therein contained. In witness thereof, I have here unto set my hand and sealed the day and year aforesaid. Notary public. Okay, boom. So this was somebody who then went on to do interviews with Brother Polite,
Salmonella.
yeah, all these other.
Salmonella.
Yep.
But he's right here in 2007,
Salmonella.
where in 2007 I was in second grade. So while I was in second grade, this nigga was saying did none of this shit happen, but he ain't the only one. It's a lot of people.
It's a whole list. You see, I gave you the whole list,
the whole
right?
thing, yeah, who recanted their
list.
statement and said these things never happened. You feel what I'm saying? But they
And may
never.
I add, it was also publicized in the newspaper articles, and that was also ignored.
Wow.
So if you listen, y'all, if it was anybody other than Dr. York, right? One recanted statement would have made people be like, But the fact you got 7, 8, 9 people,
everybody recanted,
and they all said this didn't happen. Okay, they all said the FBI threatened them. They was all saying we was under duress or threat and coercion. Okay, that would definitely make you wonder, like, well then, all right, that's motive for one. Okay, it was a lot of motive on Jacob York's part. Okay, that was collateral on the FBI's part, or leverage, or swindling on the FBI's part, of going to people and say, yo, if you don't align with this, you're going to jail. Your children are going to defects. I remember these
Yep,
conversations.
yep, yep,
Right.
And a lot
yep.
of
Exactly.
people
Because
were on
remember,
a run.
half of his kids was also in defects custody.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a list of all their signatures too, right here
That's a
too.
lot of
Right,
From the
fucking
everybody.
recants.
people
It's a lot of people that recanted their statements now, huh?
to be able to
Man.
listen. You ain't finna get me to recant shit.
Facts.
I'm dying on that hill.
Hmm.
What you talking about? Unless it's fucking
Facts.
your soul up.
Facts.
You having nightmares. You being visited by beings you
Mm-hmm.
can't even describe.
Yep.
Reminding you of where you finna be.
Everything you
And
did.
then you start to see people randomly, happening, freak accidents happening to people.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And
a whole
people
another
committing
thing.
suicide.
Yeah, that too.
You
I
understand?
mean, my little brother committed suicide once he found out his mother lied.
Yeah,
Wow.
Damn.
yeah.
Man, it's deeper than the surface. So a lot of people need to understand this stuff so we can actually get clarity, because a lot of people just throw, when you attach something like that to someone's name, what that does automatically, that's like one of the worst things you can attach to a man's
Character
name is allegations.
assassination.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, character assassination. And the thing is, no one, once you have that much people, believe in the lies, it's hard to clean it up. Look at Bill Cosby shit.
Yeah.
So it's literally up to us, because you got the court of
Yes.
public opinion, right? You got how they move and how the public gonna think whatever shit is, and they gonna judge it based off of that. But then you have the power of people being able to do like what we just did on here. It can be bigger. I can make it bigger. This is why I was fighting for this type of position, by the way. Because anything people don't want to say, guess who's going to say it? I'm going to say it. And I'm not going to just say it. I'm going to say it, and we're going to go big with it. We can do a song. We can do a documentary. I'm going to go big with the shit
Not a
so that
song.
everybody sees it. You feel what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
yeah. And look, I'm just leaving because
At least
I
you
got
got it.
a meeting I got to do, and I'm going to come back on. We come on here later, like 4
All
or
right,
5
peace.
o'clock, right?
Tour.
And we get back into it. So at 4 o'clock, we can get back on if y'all
Yeah,
have nothing else
because I
going.
mean, there's a hope. Well, I'm off today, so there's a bunch of documents, like I said, from fraud, from all the fraud. How about the fact of all of these people who said that their kids was being molested, as well as them recanting their statements. But I also have the proof of their parents that committed the fraud that was stated in his affidavit, David.
Right.
So I
So this
also
is the
have
big
proof
question
of
for
that as
everybody
well.
who on here. If you know, because like even if you're new to this information, right? With Nikki Lopez, for one, I didn't know Nikki Lopez. I wasn't even old enough to know who the fuck that was, right? And by the time I was on Tom Ray, she wasn't nowhere around. You feel what I'm saying? Nikki Lopez don't know me at all. She blocked me. I never even went around her name. It was nothing that was a point of interest for a long time. I never even said her name. You understand? I was dealing with the case and getting people to know who Malachi was to begin with, right? Same reason why I told the Sabians, I said, I'm not running with Bobby and then because nobody knows who that is. And you look that up, you